Welcome to the Profitability Podcast. I'm Joey.
And I'm Mackenzie.
Join us as we explore success in business and life, proving that while finance may not feel sexy, profitability is. Hi guys. Today we're doing something a little bit different on the podcast. And I have to tell you that I'm very excited for today's episode because I have written a dissertation. I've written, I don't know what to call it, a speech, a talk, something. Yeah, I can't think of the word right now, but it's a whole thing. It's got sections. It's printed on paper. I'm going to read it. I have a whole thing here, that I've written, and this came to me in a dream. No, it didn't. But I was laying in bed one night thinking about all of you and thinking about what we as a company truly at our core want to do to help people. And this thought came to my mind that money is emotional. And I was like, yeah, duh, right? Like, obviously. And so then, as I do, Mark's going to kill me for this. My husband, Mark, he thinks that I'm having an emotional affair with ChatGPT. He might not be wrong. I'm not sure. It's weird. It's fine. But as I do, when I have, thoughts like that in the middle of the night, I went to ChatGPT and I asked it to brainstorm with me. And so we brainstormed together, me and my BFF, ChatGPT. And it ended up in this dissertation. And I have given this speech thing twice to two different groups, and it's gone completely different both times. So I'll warn you that it's going to go how it's going to go. But my goal today is to talk to you about what I see and what I do and what I have seen my clients struggle with when it comes to finances, not in a way that's going to teach you, hey, go put 10 grand aside for marketing. That's not what we're doing today. Today is us talking about what is normal and what's not normal in our finances and how to, at the very root, figure out how we feel about money, because that is really where change begins. So I'm very excited. It's just going to be me. I'm just going to be talking through this. I'm going to look at my notes. I might read it. I might go off script. It might take forever. I don't know. We're going to experience this together. But I'm very, very excited and excited to share this message with you. And please, if it resonates with you, this is a little bit different for us. Obviously, I'm not a professional speaker. I usually come in with a spreadsheet, so this is a very different format for me, but it seems to be resonating. So if it resonates with you, will you please leave a comment or DM me or text me if you've got my number, to know if I'm on the right track here, if this kind of stuff is helpful for you, because I would love to keep doing it, but I want to make sure that obviously we're doing things that are helpful for you as a business owner, and as a person. So yeah, give me a shout if this episode does it for you. Okay? So we're calling this money is emotional, or I've heard a lot of people use the term money mindset. And that's really what we're diving into today. And I want to start by telling you one of my very favorite stories in my career so far. And that is, and I'll talk about this client a little bit throughout my speech. But we had a then potential client get on a discovery call. And I love this person. I have kind of been watching this person from the wings for a while, and was, trying, I felt like I knew her, but I never really met her or interacted with her. But I was and am so impressed with what she's been able to do with her company. And if you're listening, you're going to know who you are. But we were on a discovery call. Gosh, it's been about a year ago. and we were on a call together. And this person is one of the most admirable people because she can accomplish so much and does accomplish so much, but she's also not afraid to be 100% her, authentic, vulnerable, all of it. Like, she is who she is. She is transparent, and she will tell you how she feels, which is probably actually my favorite quality about her. Her success and her drive are very admirable, but they come in second to what I love about her, and her ability to just be her and to say how she feels and do it so eloquently. And so we were on this discovery call with her, and I'm jazzed out of my mind thinking, this is the coolest thing ever that I'm even sitting in this room right now, that she's interested in hiring us, and from the outside, it seems like she's got it all together. And I'm kind of like, why are we even here? And we start talking, and I start learning about some of the things that have been going on. And at one point, she stopped the call and goes, I have to be really honest with you guys. This feels a lot like getting a financial mammogram. And I was like, what? I have never, what? What are we doing? What did you just say? And she goes, this is like one of the most vulnerable things that I've ever done. It kind of feels like I've taken my top off and I'm just exposing myself to you. And you just get to sit there and decide if I'm good or healthy or unhealthy and bad, and if I'm failing or not. And I was just like, I have never heard anything like that before. At first, I just laughed because I was like, that is hysterical. But then it stuck with me. And I was like, wow, what a great analogy. And I'm going to get into it a little bit more in just a minute. But she said, this is very, very vulnerable for me. Very hard and difficult for me to even sit here and tell you all these things, because you are going to come back to me and tell me if I'm doing a good job or not doing a good job. And I'm not even sure. Like, I want to know the answer, but at the same time, maybe I don't. And like I said, on the call, I just kind of laughed it off. And then the more I thought about it, the more that analogy kept coming up. And I had that analogy to reference in my brain. The more discovery calls I got on, that I heard things like, this is really scary. And this is very vulnerable. And I'm having a hard time with the idea of sharing my finances with people. And of course, I heard all of those statements before, right? I had heard those things before. But it wasn't until I had this analogy, which is so brilliant, that I was like, wow, it really, in so many ways, is kind of like, going to the gynecologist or getting a mammogram, in the sense of you are just totally vulnerable, just, sitting on the table or whatever it is that you're doing. And you just are expected to be okay with it. And that this is normal, and it is for your good, and it's for your good, and that it's important to get this done. And yet that doesn't make it any less vulnerable or scary or intimidating or any of that, right? So obviously I work in numbers, right? I spend my days in Excel. I love spreadsheets, and I love profit margins, and I love cash flow forecasting. All of these things are literally black and white. They are numbers. One of my favorite things about finance is that it comes with rules. 2 + 2 is always going to equal 4. If there's money in the bank, then the business is open for business, right? There are rules that we follow. And I know that if I post all of the right transactions to the ledger, that it's going to reconcile at the end of the month. Or if I depreciate an asset over 60 months by the right amount, that it's going to zero out at the end of it, because math is math is math. And I love that. You will hear me joke oftentimes that I hate marketing because there are no rules in marketing, and no one can sit down and tell me how to do it right or do it wrong. It's just a guessing game. And it depends on the algorithm. Like, what does that even mean, right? I love that my job is very black and white, and that it is one way or it's another. And yet, right? And yet here we are talking about how money is emotional. And the more that I realize this, and the more that I dive into this concept, the more I realize that every single person has emotion tied to money. Every single person. And yes, it's still dollars and cents, and it's still mathing, right? Like there's $5 in and there's $6 out. You're in big trouble. Those rules still apply. And yet it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. You'll often hear me talk about how half my job is being a financial therapist, especially now that I've kind of gotten into this money is emotional thing, right? This money mindset thing. I spend a lot of time talking to my clients about things other than math. And I love that about my job. I love that I get to be a financial therapist. In fact, I'm really pretty good at it. Bailey, who's now on our team, if you listen to the last episode, she's also very good at it. But the reason that this happens naturally is because money is emotional. Almost every woman that I work with has some deep emotion tied to money, whether it's shame or fear or guilt or pressure or happiness or success or failure, whatever it might be, good or bad, there is often an emotion tied to money. And it often doesn't matter how successful she is or she is not, according to my standards, there are still emotions tied to money. I've seen women with 6, even 7 figures who have saved and saved and saved months and months worth of cash who still feel like they're not doing enough. I've seen entrepreneurs pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars question whether they deserve any of it. And, that's not my job to help them realize their worth. But if I'm going to talk to them about pricing, then that tends to sneak in. Money is really supposed to be math, and it is math. Like I said, it really is dollars and cents. And regardless of the fact that dollars and cents are emotional, they still, 2 plus $2 equals $4. But for women, money is often also a mirror. It's a reflection of how we see our own worth, our effort, our roles, what we do, how we help, how effective we are, how much people like us. That's all sitting underneath the surface of those 2 plus $2. And that's what I really want to unpack today. And what I aim to unpack with my clients is what emotion is sitting just underneath that surface that's either fueling this growth or causing it to stop dead in its tracks. And chances are it's one or the other. Even if you're a numbers person. People all the time tell me, I'm not a numbers person. I hate numbers. I don't want to work with numbers. It's just not my jam. I work with numbers. I love numbers. I'm a big numbers person. And money is still very emotional for me. So if I need it, then certainly if you hate numbers, there's some emotion tied to that, and we need to have a conversation. So a lot of people will ask me, like, when I go into this, they'll ask me, well, how do we get away from that? Or why does it have to be like that? And I want to kind of get away from that because, I want to talk about why it's so emotional, but I'm not here to make it unemotional. Like, let me be perfectly honest with you. I'm not here to say, go back to thinking of it as a textbook. In some regards, maybe, but money is always going to be emotional no matter how much work you put into it. I just want to shift it from really bad to pretty freaking good. And that's what I want to do. But before we do all of that, we have to kind of understand why it's so emotional. So whether we realize it or whether we don't realize it, hopefully you're starting to realize it as you listen, but we all carry money stories. These might be stories that you inherited from other people, that you heard other people experienced. It might be stories that you have absorbed from your childhood after watching or growing up in a certain household. And it might be stories that you lived through yourself that have happened to you. For example, maybe your mom worked 3 jobs, and so that you would never have to go without, but you grew up hearing things like, we can't really afford that, or not yet. And even if you didn't understand why, that's going to have a major impact on how you view money. Maybe money was a source of stress in your house. You might have overheard arguments between your parents, or maybe in the car, when you asked if you could get a Happy Meal, your mom would make some comment about why you couldn't, and it maybe wasn't very kind, right? Like, all of these things are becoming internalized, and a brick upon a brick upon a brick of the building that you created of how you view and deal with money. Maybe it's a security status. If I have money, then nothing can go wrong and I'm safe. That is definitely one for me. I think it doesn't matter what comes my way. If I have money, then I can deal. And the opposite also feels true. Doesn't matter if things are going perfectly amazing. If I don't have money, then I can't deal. Maybe it's a way to earn love or approval. I know that for women in business, especially, we often have this like really far-fetched goal, or what we think is far-fetched. And if we were to really sit and think about it, we might tie that back to, I'm only successful if, or even worse, this person is only going to approve of me or value me or notice me if I hit this metric. Whether it's, a love interest or a parent or a mentor, they won't take me seriously until I'm doing 7 figures, something along those lines. That means that you're tying money to approval, right? And I bring up all these examples, and I need you to know that at some point in my life, to some degree, I felt all of these and still do in so many ways, probably in ways that I have still not dissected. And, there's a reason I pay a therapist, right? Because there's a lot to deal with here, but this isn't abnormal. This is, in fact, the most normal for all of us to have some kind of feelings. So maybe take a second right now, whatever you're doing, pull out a notebook, pause the podcast, and ask yourself, when I look at my bank statements, when I go to swipe my credit card, when I look at the profitability or loss of my business, what feelings come up? And if they're negative, what experiences are likely connected to those feelings? Experiences in my past. Why am I feeling that way? Is it because someone has said something to me once that has stuck with me in my head? Is it because I want to impress somebody? Is it because I want to take my kids to Disneyland? Like, what is it that is making those feelings come up every time you think about or look at or deal with money? All of these stories are just baked into who you are, and we carry them into adulthood, into our businesses, into every decision we make about what we charge, what we save, what we spend, and what we believe we're worth. If you're like me, you're having a money decision all day, every day. Are you going to Swig, or are you grabbing the can of Diet Coke from the fridge? Are you going to go out to lunch with your client, or are you going to meet via Zoom? Do you need to stop and get gas today? Or do you have enough to take your daughter to dance and wait another day, right? Like, we probably subconsciously are making those decisions all the time. Somewhere in the back of your head, you're probably pretty aware of the amount of money generally that's in your bank account. And that's affecting you. It's affecting how you operate every single day, every single hour, every single minute. And then on top of all of that, there's a huge culture piece. And I need you to hang with me here, okay? Because I come off very feminist, very man-hater sometimes on social media, especially. Sometimes for good reason, sometimes not. I'm actually not as obnoxious as I come across in social media. And if you listen to the podcast, hopefully you recognize that by now. However, big asterisk, semicolon, whatever. The more that I dive into money being emotional, the more I find examples, especially for women, of how it makes total perfect sense of why we will have and can have negative emotions about money. So, think about for a second. Have you ever been praised for being frugal? Man or woman, whoever is listening. Have you ever been praised for being frugal? But you haven't been praised for being financially ambitious. So you might get a pat on the back for being really good at budgeting. I certainly have. And that's not a bad thing. These aren't bad things. But no one has ever come up to me and gone, I am so proud of you for chasing a goal of $1 million. Right? Like no one's talking about that. No one's praising me for that. No one's sitting down and going, Joey, the most admirable thing about you is that you want to make $1 million. No. But I could tell you hundreds of times, probably, where people praised me for being frugal. Not a bad thing. They're not doing it on purpose. But how would that not affect your mindset about money? We're often told, either explicitly or inexplicitly, that making money is selfish, or that it's only okay if we give it away. And heaven forbid if we ever become the breadwinner of our homes, in our homes. Because if that's the case, then we're probably neglecting our kids, or our homes, or our marriage must be in trouble, or our husband is absolutely a saint for letting us do this. Does that sound familiar to anybody? My husband is a saint, period, hard stop. But he's not a saint for letting me do anything. He's a saint for many other reasons, but that's not one of them. That's certainly not one of them. And if roles were reversed, no one would be saying the same thing about me. No one would come up to me and be like, you are a saint for letting your husband have a career. No. What? No. These messages are often very subtle. And again, usually there's no malintent behind them. People aren't doing this on purpose. And yet they are happening and they are powerful. And even when we recognize them, and maybe we're superstars and can break through them very easily and see through the crap that they are, when we hit those big numbers, when we really start to win financially, we don't celebrate. We tap the brakes. We question if we're doing too much. We shrink to stay likable. We apologize for our success. Or we go, it's still not enough, and I'm failing somewhere else. We are so conditioned, and I can say this because I do it. We're so conditioned that with every win, there's 10 failures or 10 setbacks. And for whatever reason, even if someone is trying to congratulate us on our win, we're immediately like, oh, well, it wasn't me because blah. Or, don't read too much into it because my house is a mess or whatever it might be. And it just, what? How are we supposed to have any sort of financial success if every single time we have a financial win, we're backpedaling? We're comparing it to the 10 failures. You're never going to keep having financial wins. And unfortunately, it's not just the people that we interact with or who raised us or who we, sit next to at our daughter's dance class that shape how we feel about money. It's also the stories we've been told over and over and over again in the media. Think about how many movies or TV shows, and it's really sad since I've written this, how often I see it, and it just makes me angry. And I have to just let it go because at least I know that it is what it is now. But think about how many movies or TV shows have you seen where a woman is financially successful, or she's powerful, or she's respected, and she's also happy and loved and balanced and portrayed in a positive light? Not very often. Instead, here's what usually happens. The powerful woman is the villain, i.e. Devil Wears Prada. The successful woman is lonely and hated until or unless she softens up. Think about Sandra Bullock in The Proposal, one of my favorite movies. She couldn't possibly be liked until she takes a step back and softens up a little bit. The ambitious woman is mocked for caring about her career at all. Or she's punished for trying to play big. Think about if you've seen Molly Bloom in Molly's Game. She gets in trouble for trying to achieve something great. Every Hallmark movie ever is some far too busy corporate ladder climbing marketing VP in New York who, against her will, has to go to some farm town to visit her dying grandma, right? Whatever it might be. And everyone hates her, and she's the worst, and she can't get off her freaking cone. And then slowly but surely, the cute farm boy who sells Christmas trees once a year helps her see that the true meaning of life has nothing to do with the corporate ladder. I'm being very sarcastic, obviously. You can hear that. This is not me saying that life is less important than work. I absolutely believe in stepping away from work and prioritizing real life, because this is just work and life is actually life. So that's, I just want to make it very clear that that's not what I'm saying here. That slowing down or taking a breath or resting is not going to help you achieve your financial dreams. That is everything that I stand against, okay? What I am saying is that in the Hallmark movies, it's the guy who is an entrepreneur that convinces the girl that she's lovable and dateable and marriage material if and only if she's not financially ambitious or trying to achieve some huge financial goal or career goal. She has to give that up to be lovable or attractive or marriage material. And I'm sorry, but you're telling me that that Christmas tree farm isn't running on some sort of cash? Someone had to have given them capital. There's no way he's selling 5 Christmas trees in a year and affording Eddie Bauer flannel. Okay. So how come we're not talking about all of the ups and downs of his business? Why does it all just magically work for him? Maybe because he's Santa. I don't know. But every Hallmark movie makes her the villain, even though in reality, both of those situations would require some serious imbalance of life and work for a minute. And even if he got into Christmas tree farming because his mom died, I don't know. It seems like that's always the case, right? He couldn't do it without some kind of cash. Whether it's revenue that he's making, or he's got investors or donations, whatever it might be, there's money flowing here, okay? And no Hallmark movie ever talks about that. It makes me crazy. So even if she wins, she's either cold and alone, or she has to give it all up in order to be fulfilled. For whatever reason, Hollywood says we can't have both. The stories are teaching us that you can have success or you can have softness, but you can't have both. You can lead, but only if you're willing to cut out everybody else in your life, because you certainly won't be likable. And you can make money, but don't you dare enjoy it. That one hates for me. You can make money, but if you enjoy it, something's wrong with you. That is a lot to think about. And then we wonder why we as women pull back when we start to succeed, why we undercharge, why we stay small, why we feel shame even when we're doing really, really well. These stories are probably somewhere deep in our psyche, or maybe not that deep. For me, they're not that deep. But we don't have to keep living them, and we don't have to keep believing them. Here's what happens if you choose to keep believing them and keep living them. One of my clients had, actually the same client that said that this was a mammogram, she had 3 months of cash saved up in the bank account. And this is not like solopreneur, okay? She's got a full team, and she has 3 months worth of cash to bankroll the business for 3 months, which is not easy. That is a huge goal. By any metric, and I would know because I can see the reality of most situations. When you're my client, I can see a lot. And by any standard, she was doing incredibly well. And yet, every time I got on the phone, she was super anxious. She had not looked at her numbers. She didn't want to look at her bank account. She just didn't even log in. And she said, it just never feels like enough. And I even had this conversation with one of my friends this morning she just said, it's just never enough money. It's just every time I make more money, I have to spend more money. And it's just never enough. And I could get in and go down that rabbit hole for days and days and days, but I'll spare you today. My point being here that this is what it feels like when shame takes over. It doesn't care about any facts. It doesn't care what the numbers say. It only cares about how you feel. And that right there is the real problem. That is what I love about my job, is that I get to be the third party that comes in and only looks at the black and whites. I don't have all these feelings and emotions tied to your money. So I get to be the neutral third party that comes in and says, you feel shame about your money, and I'm telling you, you're killing it. You're doing great. That's my favorite call to have. So when we carry shame about money, we stop trusting ourselves and we start second guessing every single decision in our business, which then leads to us overworking and undercharging. And we start obsessing over how it looks instead of how it feels, or how it actually is, objectively how it is. When you're carrying shame about money, that's what happens. I mean, how many times, maybe this is just me, but how many times have I sat as a business owner and gone, I think we need to hire. I think we need to raise our prices. I think we deserve to make more money. And yet I don't know which trigger to pull. I don't know where to start. It feels overwhelming. And when I do finally pull a trigger, any one of them, it feels wrong or something else happens. And then I'm like second guessing that decision. That is exhausting. Truly, from personal experience, those are the moments that make me want to give up. Is when I'm like, I can't do this. I don't trust myself. Why am I even sitting here? I mean, talk about imposter syndrome. That's what happens when you have shame around money and how you spend money and how you earn money. Pretty intense. And the saddest part is that's when we start pulling back from the thing that we're actually here to do. If I had to guess, everyone listening that has a business started this business for more than just making money. I would hope that there was a tiny, tiny piece of you that decided to monetize it for a reason. Otherwise, it would just be a hobby, right? But there's something every business owner that I've met, but especially women in business, usually have a pretty amazing why behind what they do. They have a story behind what they do. And when you're feeling shame or anxiety or guilt about money, you stop looking at that and thinking about that, and you start obsessing over the dollars and cents. I want you looking at your money. I will never ask you to obsess over it.
As women, life demands a lot from us, but there is no reason for you to put your business goals on hold. At the Profitability Project, we understand that your business can't be your whole life. Balancing personal life and work is always hard, and we want to help you make the most of every day. We are here to craft financial strategies to help you achieve the lifestyle you want. With options ranging from online courses to done-for-you services, you'll discover new ways to maximize profitability, streamline your operations, and take the guesswork out of taxes. We have what you need to take your business to the next level. Interested? Learn more about the Profitability Project at theprofitabilityproject.com. That's theprofitabilityproject.com. Get ready to grow your business without sacrificing your entire life.
The flip side of my job is it's either one of two things. It's either I want you to care more about your money, or just as often, I need you to care less about your money, which feels weird as a financial specialist, right? Someone who does finance, feels weird for me to say things like care less. But if you're obsessing over it, I'm going to ask you to care less, because that's not what you're here to do. You've got bigger fish to fry than for you to obsess over when money comes in and when it goes out. That's why I have a whole team behind me to help you actually execute on your financial systems so that you can be focused on your why. And we don't pull back from that why because we're not capable. We're obviously very capable of doing that. But it's because we think we don't deserve to do it at the level that we dream about. When I think of accounting firms, especially like tax accounting firms that have been around for years and years and years, I think of teams of 50, 100, 200 people. Of course, the owner's getting paid. And of course, they get to go to Mexico in the summers. And of course, they pay their mortgage and take their kids to dance. And I keep saying that. My kids don't even go to dance. But whatever it might be, right? Like, if I really sat and thought about that accounting firm owner, they're probably doing millions in revenue. And they're not necessarily famous. I don't know the name of any accounting firms like that, but that just seems obvious. But then if I think about my accounting firm doing that, that feels really selfish, really scary, and really hard. And immediately my thought is, well, would I be around enough for my kids? Would I still get to take them to swimming lessons? No, probably not. I have to trade. You don't. You don't have to trade. In fact, if you really, really, really want to accomplish your why, then you already know that you're going to need some money to do it. And I'm not just saying money as top line revenue. I'm talking enough money all around. Here's what I need you to hear. Maybe more than anything else that I say today. Money is not separate from your mission. Money fuels your mission. If we're trying to go to space in a rocket ship, That's a poor example considering current events, but we're going to stick to it. We're trying to go to space in a rocket ship. Money is not the thing that's keeping us locked on the ground. Like, money is not gravity. Money is the gas in the tank that is propelling the rocket into space. Figuratively, but also literally. Think about how much it costs to build a freaking rocket, right? That takes money. Whether your goal is to send your kid to violin lessons without thinking twice, or to finally take that trip that you've been putting off for years, or to get your business featured in Forbes magazine, that takes money. But also, if your goal is to employ more women so that they can have a career, help contribute to their family financially, and stay home with their kids, that takes money. If you want to donate a portion of your sales to schools for books, that means you better freaking make a profit on your sales. Because if you don't have a profit margin, ain't nobody donating to that school. If you want the flexibility of being home with your kids so that you can take them to swim lessons and also pay for those swim lessons, that takes money. That means you're making a pretty freaking good salary because you're making enough to pay for swim lessons and you're only putting in 75% of full time, right? 30 hours a week, whatever it might be, right? That means you're making more, not less, more than your average counterpart. Money fuels the mission. Your goal and your why does not have to be world peace, although I'm telling you right now, I've met enough women in business to know that chances are it's pretty dang close to that, something along the lines. You don't have to be a nonprofit. It just has to matter to you. And no matter what your mission is, it takes money to make it happen. For me, the mission has always been to change how the accounting industry treats women. I want to reduce a lot of shame and make finance approachable and help women, whether they're in finance or just in business, work in a way that supports their life, not drains it. But to do that, I need a team. I need software to make our processes more efficient and scalable. I need reach so that I have enough people willing to contribute to this mission that I can pay for that team. And in order to get those people in the door, I need reach, which means I've got to pay somebody to teach me how to market because it can't be me. All of that requires capital. Every single piece requires capital. You cannot scale without investment, whether it's your investment in your business or your family or sweat equity or you're investing in your future. It takes money to sustain the kind of change you're here to create. And the truth is that money doesn't change who you are. It expands who you are. It certainly can change who you are. I mean, obviously, we've all seen that, right? But oftentimes, it just expands who you are. And especially with women, when we have it, we use it to nurture, to support, to create stability for people, to support causes that we care about, to help people. It's very rare that I see a woman make a ton of money and keep every single dollar for herself. Very rare. Even if she's not making very much, chances are she's looking for ways to support other women in business or to give extra to her clients or to take dinner to her neighbor across the street or to send her kid to school with a teacher gift. Usually there's a lot of give back when women make money. I quote Kaylin Priest all the time, here in the speech, everywhere. I quote her all the time. When women make more money, and I'm butchering this isn't a direct quote, but when women make more money, they don't build higher walls, they build longer tables. When you have more capital to work with, you're not usually shutting people out, you're usually spreading it around. And if you make more money, that means that you can turn around and hire your friend who's just started her VA business, which means that she can now make money to take her kid to dance or swim or whatever. And then when she makes more money, she can hire 3 more VAs and support 3 more moms. No, there is nothing wrong with wanting to make money or wanting to make more money. In fact, it's one of the most powerful things that you can do to affect real change. So how do we do it? This all sounds great. I'm ready to do it. How do I get rid of all of these negative emotions that I'm feeling about money? There are 5 mindset shifts that I'm going to talk you through right now that I want you to practice to help you get started. Shifting your money mindset isn't about just thinking differently. It's actually about acting differently. Like any change, we can't just manifest it. We also have to start working for it. And because we're here and I'm considering this a sort of workshop on money mindset, I want to make sure that you actually leave with more than just inspiration. So I actually want to give you practical steps that you can take and to understand how this work translates into how I actually do this for people every day. This is the stuff that I actually do when I say I'm a financial therapist. These are some of the things that we talk about. These are the actual literal mindset shifts and financial strategies that I walk business owners through. So I'm going to share them with you so that you can have them and start making some progress. First one is normalize financial check-ins. You deserve to feel informed and in control of your money. That's mindset shift number 1. You deserve to feel informed and to feel in control of your money. The only way to do that is to actually get informed about your money. That's why our whole financial process starts with clarity. I can't do anything and you can't do anything unless we get really clear on where you are and where you want to go. So we got to stop being afraid of it. You deserve to feel informed and you deserve to be in the driver's seat with your money. So set up a recurring time to look at your finances. 30 minutes once a month to start. Just 3 minutes. One time a month. Review how much income came in during the last month, how much money went out in expenses, and if you're a business, if you invoice your clients, how many open invoices do you have? How much money should you have gotten in that you did? It does not have to be complicated. Just please make it consistent. Block out time on your calendar right now. Once a month, first Monday of every month from 9 to 9:30, you're going to review your finances. When I work with clients, we build this into their routine so that money becomes a tool and not a trigger. This is now a tool in your tool belt of business success. It's no longer the start of an anxiety attack. Okay? Number 2, use numbers to drive decisions, not just pay taxes. I could shout this from the rooftops. Put this on my freaking tombstone. Okay? Please use your numbers on a regular basis, especially if you have a bookkeeper and you have access to accurate, regular financial reports. Don't just let them come to your email inbox just to delete them. You're paying good money for those things. Look at them and then decide what needs to change to accomplish the mission that you're trying to accomplish. Your numbers exist to help you lead. That's mindset shift number 2. Your numbers exist to help you lead. Tool in the tool belt. Think of your numbers as a business coach, except they have, we're going to pretend, no emotion tied to them, right? We're getting out of that a little bit. It's black and white data. They don't have an opinion. They don't have an attitude. They don't have bad experiences or good experiences fueling how they're coaching you. They're just numbers. It's just data. And they're here to tell you what's going right and what's going wrong. So use them to help you lead. It's a tool. Choose one key metric, whether it's profit margins or the average sale of a customer, whatever it might be, let it guide your decisions. With my clients, we often have dashboards that just remove the guesswork. I had somebody tell me today, I just want someone to take the story that I tell and the story my husband tells and come in and tell us the real story with cold hard facts. That's my job. That's what I do. And that's what I want you to start doing. Stop removing the guesswork and the narrative that isn't there. The goal isn't more spreadsheets. The goal is more clarity. So whatever, again, keep it simple, keep it consistent. Whatever it is that you need to do to review just one metric so that you can make a more informed decision about that metric, start there. 3 is price for profit, not just survival. This, I'll tell you, and I've alluded to it, right? Bailey is our internal CFO. I have delegated the entire finance department for the profitability project to Bailey. So she is my CFO, and we have monthly financial check-ins for our own business as if I were one of my own clients. Because money is emotional for me, I had to do it. I had to tell you this. And this was the first change that we had to make, is I was pricing for bare minimum survival, not profit. And you would think, as the profitability project and as someone who literally preaches profit for a living, that I would have thought of that. But I thought, no. It's just, there will be extra if we sell enough. There was never extra. It didn't matter how much I sold, because if I sold 100 clients today, I'd have to go hire people, and at what my prices were, I wasn't paying for the amount of people that I needed. We were always overworked and underperforming and not serving our clients very well because I was pricing for survival. So your mindset shift for this one is that you can charge in alignment with the value that you deliver. That is really hard to do. It's really freaking hard to put a dollar on the value you deliver. Chances are you've already tried doing this, and maybe you've even raised it a couple times. Even if that's the case, I bet you are charging less than half of what you are actually worth. And not you, but your service, your skills, your education, your expertise, your experiences, your time, your energy, your brain power when you're standing in the shower thinking about this business is worth at least double, if I had to guess, what you're charging right now. In my case, and this is going to sound really bad, but the reality is, put me in your shoes, right? Reality is, when we did a pricing audit, when Bailey did a pricing audit for me and the profitability project, our prices were 6 times less than they needed to be in order to achieve our mission. 6 times. Imagine the amount of pushback I gave her on that crap. I was like, no way. No, I'm not 6xing my prices. See you in hell. I was like, absolutely not. You just don't understand our model. You just don't understand. No, she understands perfectly. I just can't read the label from inside the bottle. I did not 6x our prices yet, but we did increase them pretty significantly. And guess what? Our clients are better served. And my team is able to clock out at night at 5 p.m. And on tax day, I was able to go visit my grandma, who died less than a week later because of pricing. It's not about survival. It's about mission. You deserve to charge what you're worth. And you probably can't see what you're worth. that combination of all of those skills and experiences and time and energy and midnight thoughts and whatever it might be, probably it's going to be really hard for you, which is why I have a job. Review your pricing. So your action item is to review your pricing and ask, does this actually support the business that I want to have by the end of the year? Or the end of 5 years? Or the end of 10 years? Does this price, if I signed 80 clients at this price, does this actually support the business that A, would be required to support those 80 clients, and B, actually do what I want this business to do? Have a marketing team, have HR, be able to hire 3 more women, get out of sales so that I can have more time with my kids. Does your current pricing allow you to do that? If not, what does this price cost me in time, energy, and delivery to fulfill the offer? When I help clients with their pricing strategy, we don't just chase market rates. In fact, I almost never look at what other people are charging in the industry. Maybe if I've never worked in that industry before, just to get like a baseline, but it's pretty much irrelevant. And I can go into that too, but instead we anchor in reality, in capacity, and profit. If you've worked with me on capacity planning, you know what this looks like, but we actually go through and determine exactly what you would need to manage this business if it blew up out of control. And how many clients would that take? And would the current team be able to handle that? And if the answer is no, your pricing sucks. And if you're like, what did you just say? I want in on that, DM me, because we do that and it's the best. It's the biggest mind-blowing service, one-off service that we offer. And I love doing it for people because it is such an eye-opener. Service-based businesses, DM me and I will help you. Okay, number 4, build a cash buffer, not just react to emergencies. This is a goal for all of us. You're like, Jody, obviously, I know that I need money for emergencies and I want a buffer, but somehow that's not happening for me. Okay, I also have a one-off service for you called Profit First Implementation. DM me and say, I want to hear more about Profit First Implementation if you're listening to this and this feels like you, because I will help you do this. But the mindset shift is stability is something that you are capable of creating. This doesn't have to be a hamster wheel for the next 10 years. You don't have 10 years. Your kids are little. In 10 years, they're not going to be little anymore. You don't have 10 years. You don't even really have 5. And I am fully confident that no matter what you do or how you do it, stability is something that you can create. And we can have a buffer for more than just emergencies. Not just your emergencies, your team's emergencies. What happens when your team's grandma dies and you want to send flowers? Do you have the budget to do that? Because my team just sent me flowers. 2 of my team members, Becca and Kenzie, both sent me flowers on the day my grandma died, and I can't even tell you what that did for me. Do you have the budget to do that for your team? Do you have the budget to do that for yourself? Start with 1 month of operating expenses saved. Just to be totally clear with you, this is a work in progress at my very own company, and I don't even have a month of operating expenses saved. That is very vulnerable to admit, but we're having a vulnerable day today together. This whole thing is vulnerable, so I'm going to tell you that we're not there yet, but it's a goal. Okay, that's a goal for you, and it's a goal for me. And then we're going to automate it, and we're going to protect it. And this Profit First system, if you've heard of Profit First, you know what I'm talking about. We actually help our clients implement it. We've just implemented it for ourselves, and we're already making insane progress. Insane progress on saving. Nothing's changed. Expenses haven't gone down. Revenue hasn't gone up. We're just building a buffer. It's possible. We prioritize cash flow planning early because once there's breathing room, everything else improves. If you're feeling stressed about money right now, chances are it's tight. And if money's tight, okay. Wells is joining us. Wells, can you say hi? No? Okay. Wells is going to join us for the last piece. Once there's breathing room, that shame goes down about 10 degrees. And once there's a lot of breathing room, that shame goes down about 50 degrees. And as we talked about earlier, the cost of that shame, imagine how much freedom. Can you hear what? Buddy. Stop. Imagine how much freedom and how much creativity that would open you up to. If you just got 1 month of the operating expenses under control and put away in the bank. It's certainly opened up a lot for me. Number 5, treat your business like a freaking business. Because it is one. Chances are you opened that LLC and you have an EIN. Chances are someone's paid you for your product or service. Newsflash, babe, that makes you a business owner. And what you're doing is a business. This is not a side hustle. This is a company. And even if it is a side hustle, it's still a company. It's not just something you do because it's a company. It's got an EIN. The government's going to charge you taxes. So it's legit. That means that you need to set up your systems, separate your accounts, keep your books up to date, and do those monthly financial reviews. That sounds overwhelming. Guess what? I know a girl who can help. But if you want to do it yourself, you're fully capable of doing it yourself. You've set up an LLC. That means that you can set up some books and keep your money separate and start looking at these things. Start looking at your numbers. This is the foundation of how we help businesses with their money. We take the emotional weight out of creating systems that actually work and work for you, even when things get busy. And we just take it over. But if you're not there yet, even getting organized and creating a spreadsheet is going to take that financial weight off of you, that emotional weight off of you. None of this is about perfection. I don't care if you miss a month. I don't care if your spreadsheet is ugly. I don't care if it's on a piece of pen and paper. I genuinely do not care. All I care about is that you start building trust with yourself, that you prove to yourself week after week or month after month that you can actually lead your business financially, even if you hate numbers, even if this sounds like your worst nightmare. Light a freaking candle, get a freaking Diet Coke, whatever you want to do. Anyways, so this is about proving to yourself, time and time again, week after week, month after month, day after day, whatever it is, that you can actually lead your business financially, and you're not just sitting there crossing your fingers, wishing on an evening star that it's all going to work out in the end. There is a moment for that. And entrepreneur intuition is a real thing, but let's support it with some data, okay? Let's just reduce our chances of failure. So, this is what you're going to remember for me. You're not bad with money. You're not behind. You're not selfish. You're not greedy. You're not bad. You're not bad or selfish or greedy or any of those things if you want more. You're not bad or greedy or selfish or any of those things if you want to be able to take a deep breath at night, if you want ease. And by no means are you doing it wrong. Every accountant, if you were to go visit every accountant in the US and ask them what they would do for your business first, you would probably get just as many answers as you saw accountants. We all do things differently as experts in this field. That means that there's really not a right way, which means you're probably not doing it wrong. You're just trying to lead a business with outdated beliefs being shoved down your throat every single minute of every single day, inherited patterns absorbed in your DNA, and a system that was never, ever built for business owners like us. And now you know. And when you know better, you can do better. Money is not your enemy. Money is not bad. Money is not the thing causing you anxiety. Shame is. Silence, denial, burying your head in the sand, that's the enemy. Avoidance is the enemy. But you're not avoiding anymore, right? Now you know better, so you're going to do better. You're not avoiding anymore. You're checking in. You're making decisions. You're charging what your work is worth. You're calling me if you don't know what your work is worth. You're creating stability. You're leading with clarity. You are making progress towards your mission. You're becoming the kind of woman or man and the kind of business owner who leads well. And if you want support doing that, I'd love to be in your corner. Maybe throw this podcast on every once in a while when you're feeling a little bit of like, there's no way I can't do this. The amount of times people, when I challenge them on their pricing, tell me no one's ever going to pay that, cracks me up, because that's exactly what I said when Bailey told me that we needed to 6x our price at some of our prices. I immediately was like, no, but seriously, no one's ever going to pay that. And she goes, why do you think that? Like, because I have a hard time selling people on our current pricing. She's like, well, that's a sales problem, not a pricing problem. And I'm like, no, but actually. She's like, well, that's weird, because this business over here is charging double what I just told you. They're charging 12 times what you're charging. So what do you mean no one's ever going to pay that? If that's your first thought, we're having a conversation. Give me a call. All of this, when I say financial therapy, this is what I mean. This is what I do. I help women or men, like most of you who are listening, move from confusion to confidence, from scarcity to strategy, and from fear to financial power, just like Bailey did for me. And the fact that I have a little bit of empathy, because I've done it myself, tends to help, tends to make it a little bit easier. Money isn't just money. Money is fuel for your mission. And it's finally time for you to jump in and start acting like it. Okay? There's my Coach Joey pet talk for you on get your butt in gear and give yourself a little grace and just start looking, start somewhere, and remind yourself that this is not your fault. You're not a bad person, and it's okay to want these things, because chances are you want these things to make your corner of the world a little bit better, not because you're a horrible person who wants to take and take and take. Okay? There you go. If you have any questions on your money mindset, or how I help coach people through their money mindset, or how Bailey coaches people through their money mindset, please DM us on Instagram at the Profitability Project LLC. Feel free to reach out to me. It's usually me actually checking our DMs. So I can absolutely chat with you via DM. We can book a call together if we want. Whatever it might be that will help you. Would love to chat with you. We are coming out with quite a few one-off services that I'm very excited about to help with all of these things. Very quickly, I'm going to walk you through those. The first is our pricing audit, which is pretty much exactly what I was talking about. We go in and we do a little bit of capacity planning. If you're a service-based business, we look at a whole bunch of data and we make sure that you're pricing what you should be pricing to actually build the kind of business that you want in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Then we have our budget buster, which is exactly what it sounds like. We come in and we help you implement a budget. Along with that budget, you can also opt into a profit first implementation where we actually help you set up a system to stick to your budget, which I find to be very helpful. Most of us can create a budget pretty decent in a spreadsheet. Sticking to that budget is the problem. Profit first does so well with that, and helps you truly reach goals in hard dollars, cash in the bank, reaching goals. So that's another, a third service. So we've got the pricing audit, the budget buster, we've got profit first implementation. And then we have, our tax strategy call, which you've probably seen on social media by now. It's a 90-minute call. One time, you can do it as often as you like. You could do it once a month if you wanted to, but, we recommend it about quarterly at least. But if you just come in one time, it's 90 minutes sitting down with Bailey and we go through your taxes and your tax strategy. And we find ways to save you money, which Bailey always says, like, every single time she does a tax strategy call, she finds at least double what the tax strategy calls for our clients, if not far more than that. Today we had a tax strategy call that we found more than 10 times what they paid us in tax savings in 90 minutes. And they immediately booked another one, which was great because there's more to be done. So that's a one-off service that we have right now. It can be one-off, it can be recurring. And then our last one is our people process profit overhaul, or profit overhaul, which is the one I'm most excited about right now. It is a total overhaul of your entire financial system. And with it, we talk a lot about your goals, where you're going, and the people that you need to get there, and the processes that need to be implemented to get you there. Especially service-based businesses, this one is such a game changer. Again, it's something we did for ourselves just recently, and we're going places 10 times faster than we've ever gone. It's so great. The amount of clarity that everyone on my team has about what they do, how they do it, the process that they need to follow, and who, is supporting them in every single one of their missions. Our goals are getting knocked out left and right. It's been really, truly so amazing. So if you're a service-based business, that is also a one-off service. Usually it's like a 3 to 6 month implementation, and it's so much fun. And all of that process is done directly with me. So if you want to work one-on-one with me and go through your money mindset and just get a whole system set up so that you can 10x your business, this is a great place to start. Again, especially if you're a service-based business, this is really fun. So that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said at the beginning, if this was helpful, if any of this rang true, please give me some feedback. As you know, this is our first year of the podcast. I am throwing spaghetti at the wall half the time over here. And so I always love to know what is helpful and impactful and really making a difference for business owners. So if this is one of those episodes and this was helpful, please let me know. I would love to do more of this type of coaching where we talk about the mindset and talk about the root cause of all these things. And then we actually talk about, what are we going to do to flip the script and really take action and ownership of our finances. That sparks so much joy for me. So, as always, reach out to us on Instagram at the Profitability Project LLC, or you can submit an inquiry on our website, which is also linked in the show notes. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Profitability Podcast. For more business and finance content, follow us on Instagram at the Profitability Project LLC, or visit our website at theprofitabilityproject.com.